Welcome back to the Top 8 podcast. We're officially back for the first episode of 2025, and there's been a major change on the podcast.
A major change?
Talk about major change.
This is a surprise to me because I don't even know what the hell you're going to talk about right now.
I'm Matt Batiste, and there's actually been a co-host change. You know, TJ is always, he's dead. TJ is always no longer a co-host. He got kicked off of the show. He's no longer here with us.
Yeah, we hate that guy.
Instead, though, we have Dr. TJ.
Hey.
Congratulations on the PhD, my friend.
Thank you, sir. If you're listening to this and you also follow me on social media, I wonder where the hell I've been. I've been locked in a hole studying for my PhD defense, which went very well. Your boy's officially a doctor, so shout out to me, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I think you were officially the only emo doctor. We're going to call you Dr. Emo from now on.
Ooh, I like it. All right. Well, okay, we're going to throw out some ideas. People, put your comments under the video what I should change my Instagram handle to.
I think Dr. Emo TJ.
Dr. Emo TJ. Okay, it's a little wordy, but we'll work on it.
Dr. Emo. The emo doctor.
Okay, we're getting closer, I feel like.
The emo doctor, I think. And the crazy thing is, too, is that you won't be doing any more videos in the lab coat.
Yeah, at least not for right now. The jobs that I've been applying for are not based in a lab. So that will definitely be a switch up for me. It's going to be a change of pace for, everyday life, essentially, but hopefully for the best.
What does that mean for the podcast? Are we going to get like dissertations? Are we going to diagnose stuff on the show? Could we have like a top 8 emo doctors episode?
List just me, and then you're going to make up the 7 other people because I can't name any others.
I was going to put Dr. TJ, Dr. TJ, Dr. TJ, Dr. TJ, Dr. TJ, Dr. TJ, and I was really hoping I would get to my punchline of another doctor by the time
you were hoping you were going to find that along the way, eh?
Yeah. I was just, kind of just started walking and was hoping to find my location, my destination,
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna cut that whole thing probably. So
absolutely
thank you
not.
for joining
I'm
us.
leaving that in. We are back with the Top 8 podcast.
Excited to be back. We've got a lot planned for 2025, and that starts with some new episodes that we're recording right now. So it's
including
good to be back.
This episode, which is going to be we're going to do like a predictions episode for 2025 because I feel like we did that for 2024. It was one of our first episodes.
We did like most anticipated records and most anticipated tours, but we're kind of combining into like most anticipated and some just general prediction stuff just to kind of bring it all into one big episode instead.
Because majority of our predictions last time actually came true.
Yeah, it's true.
And we were like, anticipated. And we were like, day to remember. Maybe, and then boom, it was like a month later. Hey guys, we're going on tour.
New single.
We're like, we called it with absolutely no basis. We were just like, this is something we want.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some shit out there in this episode too that I've got some reasoning for, but there's some random ones on here for sure.
100%. I'm like manifesting a couple of these for sure.
For sure, yeah.
All right, so top 8 things that we want to see happen in 2025. Why don't you go first?
Sure. I'm going to kick off my list with kind of a softball that I think will definitely happen, but pretty general. Knock Loose is going to have an even bigger year this year than they had last year, which is that's hard to top because they had the massive tour, nominated for a Grammy. I feel like the way that they're either going to do that is 1, winning the Grammy, or 2, they're going to get added to some crazy festival. Like I think they already played Coachella or Lollapalooza. I can't remember, but one of the big ones. And I feel like they're going to be on like a main stage slot, like just like something you wouldn't think would happen. But at this point, nothing would surprise me with this band. So
they are playing when we were young.
Yeah, I know, but everybody's playing when we were young at this point.
Fair assessment.
I mean, like in terms of like mainstream attention wise, like they're gonna get even bigger than they already are, which seems difficult, but I believe in them.
I'm gonna call you out and feel like and just say that I feel like that's a safe bet. Like
It
they were
is.
on Kimmel. You know what I mean? Like it's a safe bet to say that they're
It
going to
is.
keep
Yeah.
getting bigger.
I mean, that's why I was like, I'm going to throw it a softball for my number 8, but I think it's reasonable.
I'm going to counter that and say that they have a slow year.
Really? You think so?
They take
I think that they're riding an all-time momentum, and there's no way they slow down. I feel like they might do another double single release again, just to be like, yeah, fuck, we've got so much material, we don't even care. Like,
I don't
they
think
just
they
do whatever they
release
want at this point.
an album this year, maybe a single at most. Maybe
No, they won't do another
tour.
album, but I'm saying, like, remember when they dropped like those Upon Lost singles, like the I can't remember the names of the songs. Yeah, Deep in the Willow and whatever the other one was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna have a big year. That's my guess.
That's a fairly safe guess. Top 8 things that I want to see happen is I want to see the person who's watching this video on YouTube subscribe to it.
Oh, got him.
I want to see the person that's listening to this on Spotify or Apple follow the show, rate and review it. That's what I want.
Leave 5 stars. Do like a comment. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. All those fun things. It really helps out.
My 8th spot, I realized, is a little bit more of like it's going to happen, and I'm excited for it to happen rather than anticipating it happening. But this band, Anxious, I don't know if you've ever checked them out. They opened up for the Wonder Years years ago, and went to go and check them out. They're such a great band. And they released 3 singles already for an upcoming album, which should be coming out really soon. And I've been jamming those 3 singles on repeat for the last few weeks. And they've just really blown me away. So I'm really
excited. Is this album confirmed, or you're just expecting?
It's confirmed. It's confirmed.
Oh, okay,
that's why. Yeah, I think it comes.
So you're anticipating really loving the album.
Yes, essentially, because especially these 3 singles, I think are their best work so far. They're a little bit like more mainstream. Like they kind of have like a couple more like breakdowns or like 2-steppy parts in some of their older stuff. Whereas like this is just straight. It's catchier.
Is this a turnstile switch up situation?
Listen to the songs and you'll know what I'm talking about. Like if you listen to like their old album, I think that you would actually really like them.
I've checked them out before. I do enjoy them. I just haven't listened to any of their recent stuff.
Listen to their 3 singles for their new album. Fantastic. Like really, really elevated them to the next level. I think I've always kind of like listened to Anxious here or there, but never really, put them on any sort of, I guess, like pedestal or elevated level. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, they're this good emo band that's making good music right now. And that's kind of like it. I haven't put as much thought into them as you would like maybe an arm's length. After these 3 singles, listen to them steady, and with this album, I really feel like this is going to take them to the next level, into that band where more people are actually checking them out. So that's what I'm really excited to see from them.
Nice. Ready for them to hit the next level of success and attention.
Absolutely. What do you have at number 7?
Awesome. Number 7, I have Isles and Glaciers are going to reunite for Warped Tour, which is definitely throwing one. So the number 8 was a softball. This one is a long shot. But there was like an Instagram account that started for the band, but
I was just about to say, I don't know if this is that much of a long shot because I was remembering that. But was that confirmed to be
But
them?
I wasn't sure if that was fake or not. And I don't remember actually going back and checking out if that was real, which I definitely should have done before talking about it today, but I didn't.
But we're going to do it right now.
I did see that Kevin Lyman was doing like a little AMA on Reddit about Warped Tour, and he said that there would be some band reunions. So this was the logical one for me in terms of like, this is like the epitome of a Warped Tour band for me. They were only around for one record, dropped off, and now hopefully we'll get this massive supergroup reuniting again for this big return of Warped Tour.
This would be wild. The crazy thing is they only have 1,654 followers on this account, but like I thought this
because nobody knows if it's real or not. I think they followed like me and like some other pages, some other creators, and people were like, is this real? Like I don't really know. And then nothing really came of it.
They followed all the influencers and all of the bands, and that was it. Like they follow me, they follow you, they follow
and then nothing.
Emo Social Club, Jessica Conrad, Nick Vieira, like, and they follow Scene Daddy, they follow the Emo Night guys, like they follow a lot of these people.
So it's either somebody just trying to like make a name for themselves, be like, I'm just going to follow everybody and hopefully they think it's real. Or maybe it is, and they're just not allowed to say anything yet, i.e. maybe it's a reunion that hasn't been announced yet. Hopefully it will coincide with the return of Warped Tour.
I mean, that would be sick. Like you said, Kevin Lehman in that Q&A basically said that there will be some surprise get-togethers or reunions. So I hope that actually ties into a couple other things that I have on my list, actually. So,
ooh, okay, interesting.
Did you have anything else to say about Isles and Glaciers?
No, that was pretty much it. Just that's kind of the crumbs of evidence that I'm going based off of, and I would like to see it happen. So that's pretty much it.
I do have to say a lot of my list is just new records.
Okay.
And there's a couple of other things sprinkled in there as like little curveballs and surprises, but
I mostly went with just like events or band reunions, and I have 3 potential albums stacked in one grouping in my number 2 position.
I think
so we'll
just
get there.
because there's so much potential new music that I'm like, and that's what I'm most excited for. Right.
Fair.
Thursday has been touring with Silverstein. They've been killing it, dropping a couple of singles here and there. And I cannot wait to hear a full length record because the singles that they've been dropping are incredible so far. Like peak Thursday, which is crazy to think that like all these years later, they're just still dropping straight bangers. Like Jeff Rickley still got it. I'm not just saying that because I've been dying to get him on the podcast for a while.
Shout out.
But like I grew up loving Thursday. Like I still think that they're one of the best post-hardcore bands. And the fact that they're releasing new music that just kind of felt like it was out of nowhere. And then to hear like the level that they're doing it at, and I believe they're doing it independently right now as well.
Oh, are they?
I might need to get fact checked on that. But it's been incredible so far. So I cannot wait to hear the full length that they actually drop when they're ready.
I did that AI picks post-hardcore albums video about 3 to 4 months ago now, and I still get daily hate comments of, I can't believe this guy's disrespecting Thursday. I'm like, yeah, dude, I fucking get it. 3,000 people commented on this saying the exact same thing. Move on.
I think it's deservedly so. I think if you're going to shit on Thursday, you deserve all of the hate that comes to you. I'm sorry. You should have known better.
I know. They never clicked with me. I don't get it. Like, I respect them for what they did for the genre, but like, they just never connected with me personally. So that's a hot take on my end. I know I get hate for it all the time. We can move on.
You're so wrong, but
I know,
I'm going to forgive you just because I noticed your t-shirt is of your cat.
Frodo, baby.
Frodo?
I was waiting for you to notice that. Amy had that made for me for Christmas.
I was like, what's this band t-shirt that he's wearing? And I'm like, wait a minute, this is Frodo. And then there's his cat. I love that.
Yeah, it's like flipped around on my screen, but
oh my God, that is amazing.
It's a good Christmas gift.
That is a perfect Christmas gift.
Right? Anyways, in the number 6 spot, another band reunion. It's pretty much confirmed at this point, but Let Live have been announced that they're playing When We Were Young, but I want them to do a full reunion and to put out some new music before When We Were Young, because they haven't put out anything since 2016. As of right now, Jason Butler's like the only official member, but I suspect that's going to change soon. With Fever 333, like they started off so strong. I loved Fever 333, but now that we've had these lineup changes, they've kind of fallen off really hard. Like they dropped an album last year and I've heard nobody talk about it. So I think that like it's a good time to maybe go back to something that people have a bit more of a connection to, which would be Let Live. And it obviously they've been announced for When We Were Young, so I want them to just do a full comeback.
You know, you actually touched on something there, and that made me remember. Set Your Goals have gotten back together for When We Were Young,
right?
And man, if I would have thought of that, I definitely would have had that up on my list for like.
Oh, I was waiting for that one, to be honest.
Tour. Yeah, I didn't put that on there. So if you're listening, that there is mentally, we're gonna, change that around or something. The problem is now is like everything else that's on my list is also up there. Other things that I expect or really want to happen. So just know, Set Your Goals reunion.
Strong honorable mention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
strong honorable mention that probably should be on my list. But at number 6, I have a new pup record. And that's just
Okay.
because the last record they put out was a few years ago. They are due for a new record. Pup are definitely one of the best bands out there right now. And opening up for Sum 41 on this final tour, which is amazing.
Oh, true.
Canadian
Yeah.
Toronto band, like love Pup. And they released a new single recently. So
Oh,
a
did
new
they? I didn't even
album.
see that.
Yeah, Anxiety or Anxious, I forget what it was called. But Pup, like I don't know what else to say. Like they're one of the best current punk bands right now. And the fact that they're from Toronto, I get so excited when they release things. Like this is one
Totally.
of those things where I'm going to probably pre-order their record on vinyl in hopes that it comes the day before release date like it did last time, so I
So
can
you can
sit it
hear
on
it
my
early.
record player and listen to it a day early. Like that's
Nice.
what happened with their last album. So new Pup. We need a new Pup.
Yeah.
It's been too long now.
They feel like a hometown hero type band. Like, I mean, those kinds of band, like anytime Silverstein drops something, I'm like, they're like the champions of like our scene just because they're like one of the biggest bands from our area, like them and Alexis on Fire. So like anytime, they kind of go hand in hand. Just like you love to support the hometown homies.
I also feel like with Pup, it's a little bit different because I feel like they don't get as much mainstream
Right.
success
Yeah.
as Silverstein and Alexis on Fire do. So it kind of feels like you get behind that, you get beyond that certain level where it's like, okay, I'm super happy for them because they broke that barrier. But then it's also kind of like, well, now who's that next person from Toronto that I want to, rep and show my pride for to get them out into the stratosphere? Because I just want all of the
Right.
amazing bands from Toronto to get that success, right? So I'm
Totally.
more willing to support Pup than I am Alexis on Fire because Alexis on Fire is like done it.
They've got the attention. They're good. That one actually plays pretty well into my number 5, which is All Your Friends Fest are going to solidify themselves as the premier festival in Ontario for alternative music, which, I mean, they're kind of the only one right now. But I feel like after the success of the first year, they're setting themselves up for like longevity at this point, especially keeping like the Canadian emphasis going into year 2 with Simple Plan and Avril announced as the headliners. We don't know who else is going to be playing it yet, but I could see Pup being added to something like this since they're kind of like that hometown hero band, as I mentioned. Still waiting on the rest of the lineup, but I'm pretty confident they're going to pull off something great again for year 2.
Yeah, I'm dying to see the rest of that lineup. Like dying to see it. So super excited for that. I don't have All Your Friends Fest on my list, but we're gonna merge that with my next spot because my next one is actually a second When We Were Young date. And
okay. Yeah.
I feel like, for this year,
that's going to play into my number
year,
1, which is going to be a controversial take, but we'll get there.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like it's taking a really long time for them to announce a second date. And it's officially at the point where like I'm kind of worried because I'm like, well, if they're not getting enough ticket sales for day 1 to announce a day 2, then does that mean that the festival itself is slowing down? Does that mean that the festival itself, if it slows down, ends? And I just don't want it to end because like the last couple of years have been so amazing that it's one of those things where it's like, I want to make a tradition out of it and go every single year. And if it slows down and it doesn't get to that point, then it's sad because it's like, there's something about Las Vegas and all of the emos walking around Vegas
fun.
that just
it's
makes
like,
it so
it's such
special.
It's such a unique atmosphere. Like I've never experienced anything like it. And it's a one of a kind feeling. And I'm going to save the rest of my thoughts for
Absolutely.
later.
Absolutely. What do you have there at number 4?
Number 4, I have also kind of When We Were Young related-ish, but Blink-182 are going to drop new music right before When We Were Young because they're announced as another headliner. And the way that they were framed on the When We Were Young poster is just like playing hits from, the 3 iconic records. And I'm like, that's not all they're doing. Like before, not this past year's When We Were Young, but the year before that, that's when they had like their whole reunion thing. So I can imagine them doing the same kind of thing to build hype and momentum. I'm pretty sure they've been back in the studio already working on new music. So timeline wise, I could see it. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good prediction for them to be releasing new music. I think that if they don't
probably just like a single or 2, but like not a full album by any means. Because I mean, they just had the deluxe version of One More Time this past year. But Yeah, I can definitely see like a new single or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that if we don't get a new album before when we were young, I feel like they'll definitely use it as a way to announce new music, because
Yeah, they could
that's
do
when
that
like
too.
all eyes are on the scene that weekend. So for them to be headlining the show, to be like, hey, by the way, guys, yep, we have a new album coming out in January. And
Yeah,
then, that gets all the hype around it. All the headlines are going to be around when we were young, the big announcements, everything that the bands do on stage make headlines. So like for a
exactly.
headline act to be like, yo, new music, boom, that's free publicity.
Yeah, 100%.
For number 4 for me, I have a new Hot Mulligan record. And that's just
Okay, you love your new
because
records. All the emo bands are going to drop new records as a per
it's
Met.
basically my most anticipated or like excited for record predictions. So Hot Mulligan, they released Why Would I Watch in 2023. Contender for album of the year, if not the album of the year for most people.
For most people, okay.
Yeah. Well, they were mine, but then it was kind of like between that and Spanish Love Songs, No Joy. Spanish Love Songs won that
Right.
for me. But Hot Mulligan haven't slowed down. Every single time they release something, it's better than the last. So it's just like they straight up don't miss. Like Hot Mulligan does not miss. And here's the thing though, is like they surprised me in 2024 because I thought, you just dropped this banger of an album, Why Would I Watch? You toured it, like, okay, they're done. They're going to take some time, maybe write some more songs, maybe do a couple more tours, and like take at least 2 years before dropping any new music. And then they dropped an EP last year. So I'm like, okay, well, they're clearly working on new music. And now at this point, you went from Why Would I Watch into an EP into the next year, and a 2-year cycle on an album isn't crazy. So we could get a Hot Mulligan record at some point this year. And
yeah, I could see it.
If they do drop that album, especially based off of the EP that they released last year, it could very well also be their best record. Like we can be likening Why Would I Watch as their Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and then this new album as their Untitled. You know what I mean? Kind of going from that super hyper
bold
emotional type of music. And like I'm talking more so about like the songwriting style, right? Because we saw Blink go from like silly into semi-emotional into fully emotional, like
okay, I can see that.
Yeah, kind of a bad example fully, because Why Would
I see what you're saying, like maybe start
but
taking themselves a bit more seriously in some sense.
Yes and no, like, because I think that they do take themselves seriously and they work really, really hard, but it's just, I think that like Why Would I Watch could very well be that transitionary album into the album that really sends them into the stratosphere. And that's saying like this right now, they're probably the hottest emo band that's currently making music right now. But like, I think that this next album that they release could quite literally take them into like everyone knows their fucking name, whether you're into emo or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. This is just my very optimistic theory about Hot Mulligan and how much I clearly love them.
Hey, that's what we're here to do, right? Yeah, good pick there. My number 3 is a super personal one. I will cry at the Linkin Park concert.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's an easy prediction. Can I put that at mine too?
But yeah, you can put that as your number 8 if you want.
I want my number 3 to actually be TJ's going to cry at the Linkin Park concert. Not me, TJ.
Yeah, I dig it. I never had the opportunity to see this band. I give them the credit as the band that really got me into music altogether. I've associated like their music with such like strong, influential times of my life that I'm just imagining it being one of the most powerful shows I've ever been to. So I'm just so excited for it. So yeah.
I'm super pumped for you. And
you should be pumped for yourself too, because you're going as well.
I don't know. I feel like if we look up the scalper price of tickets, I might be tempted to get. No, I'm just kidding. There's no fucking chance.
Yeah, I was going to say that's crazy.
Tickets. No, I was like looking at them, and I think one of the people that I'm going with was like, should we just sell them and make some money? And I was like, absolutely
not.
Like, no, yeah. It was like unless these things became
the FOMO I would feel. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
Like if they became $10,000, like that can be game changing money. I would sell them for $10,000 if someone came to me. But like also though, they'd have to actively come to me and be like, I'd give you 10 grand for your tickets.
Yeah.
You know? And also they're not Taylor Swift. But like,
exactly. Yeah.
you know, I think that's my price. But other than that, I wouldn't, like, the experience is priceless to me, you know?
Yeah,
well, it's not priceless.
100%.
$10,000 is the price.
Well, yeah, there you go. You set the price high enough that it would have to be substantially worth it for sure.
My number 3 is new arm's length record. And
Okay,
I told you it's the records episode. I'm just hoping for the new records.
Why didn't we just do the most anticipated albums at this point?
I don't know, because I have a couple in here that aren't.
Okay.
Arm's length record, because they've started blowing up on old record over the last couple of years, and it had been a while. They released a couple singles. They released a My Chemical Romance cover, like, and just strictly off of that and touring, they're gaining so much traction that they better be in the studio to release that next album, because when that album
gotta follow it up
drops,
quick.
yeah, well, because they have some attention on them right now. That album is becoming a very quick classic. And like, do you really want to be that band with one album? You know, like,
Right.
drop that album and start really building something that's going to be like foundational and send you into that next level. And once again, Canadian band, they're not from Toronto, but they're not far from Toronto. And they put so much emotion into their music. They're just they feel so different. They're like a top tier band, and their catalog is so small. So to get a new album from them would be really exciting.
Right. Yeah, they gotta expand that discography so we can hear some more stuff live.
Absolutely. What do you have at number 2?
My number 2 is a mega compilation of a bunch of records. Well, I have three albums that I'm looking forward to that I'm just going to talk about in succession. So, number 1, Call Me a Sucker, but I'm never going to not be excited for A Day to Remember to drop new music.
When you started with Call Me a Sucker, I thought you were going to like name off like a new Fall Out Boy album that maybe you got like a press release for. Or...
Oh, no.
The new Fall Out Boy album, Call Me a Sucker, but I will never not be excited for.
No, they dropped Miracle, the single, in 2022, which was great. Feedback last year, which was okay, but it grew on me. It actually went off pretty well live. But I think that they really need to commit to like a brand for themselves if they're going to make like an impact on anything new. Like, you got to really commit to something. Like Bad Omens committed to like an aesthetic, and it made them like completely pop off. Like A Day to Remember probably don't have to do that at this point because they have so much name recognition. But I feel like the last album didn't hit because they tried to do 15 different styles in one record and it was too discombobulated. So I think they need to pick a lane and just fucking stick to it. And I hope that they do that.
I was going to say, like, a new A Day to Remember record. I know they're your favorite, but like, this is pretty high for a band that's not been dropping the best new music lately. And I say that with so much love.
I know, but their stuff always comes back. Like, they'll drop a record, everybody hates it, and then like a year or so later, people start to come around on it. Like, I can go back and listen to You're Welcome now and actually enjoy it. It's just like, obviously it's not their best work. It's never going to top Homesick or What Separates Me From You or For Those Who Have Heart, just because those are such a monumental records. But I think that they're still dropping good stuff that can be appreciated. So I'm never going to not look forward to any new music from them. I just always hope that it's better and good. Yeah. My second one is Ice Nine Kills, because they dropped a work of art in October, and now I'm just like waiting for more from them, essentially. Like,
I didn't know you liked Ice Nine Kills.
You can't tell. I know we've talked about it so much, but
for those listening, though, big Ice Nine Kills banner behind him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot there's people that only listen. Massive Ice Nine Kills post banner behind me, but yeah, they were releasing records on like a 3-year cycle, which should have been 2024. We got the single, but no record, obviously.
You're slacking.
I know. I'm hoping we get an announcement here soon. And then finally, this may be the biggest sucker moment of them all, but I still believe MCR5 is real. That tour announcement, like all of the video content and like the hype around that announcement, like I'm sure there's more coming than just that tour. So I'm just gonna.
I think you're a little delusional.
I know. I think most people think that anybody that still believes in MCR5 is delusional, but I don't care. I'm still hoping for it.
That's okay. I think we've all got a little Delulu in us.
Yeah,
I've got
it
some
happens.
Delulu in me,
Yeah,
but
let's hear it. What
the
are you
my cam
Delulu
isn't
for, buddy?
happening. My Delulu is not right now, but
Okay.
my number 2 is a successful Warp Tour. And
Okay.
I say that it's funny I have that, but not All Your Friends Fest in there, just because I think All Your Friends Fest was a success for its first year. We're getting a second year. So like obviously I do hope that they're gonna be successful, because I want that to continue to happen because it's right here in our own backyard.
Yep.
But the reason why I want Warp Tour to be successful is because I trust that even though we don't have the lineup as we record this, we're going to get it very, very soon. I trust that Kevin Lehman's going to make it a mix of nostalgia and current bands. And I think that'll be really, really special to have the heart of Warp Tour in there without the nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like the smaller guys. And I think that's
Okay.
going to be
Yeah.
really, really special. I also think that these first 3 cities are a test run. And if they go well
Well, yeah.
in, Florida, Washington, and California, then it's going to be more of a big thing, populated around, less people need to travel. So while I love When We Were Young, would it be nice to not have to drive, travel to Vegas to have a Warp Tour like that in your own backyard, and for them to have a Toronto stop the same way? I don't know if we'll ever get a traveling tour the way that we did back then, because I feel like
I don't think so.
logistically it's just crazy. The bands don't really care for it. Like you hear all these crazy stories from Warped back in the day. I don't think we're going to have a traveling tour, but at the very least we can, set it up with a few more cities in there where they're a bit closer to more people.
I can see
so more
like
people can
once a
experience
month
it.
in different cities for like 6 months or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I hope that it's successful, so this way there could be new dates. And I really think it's important that we also continue to push the newer bands in the scene. As much as I love the nostalgia and we love the nostalgia, and like I really do believe that you can have both. And I feel like that's what Warp Tour is going to be. I think Warp Tour is going to be both. So
Yeah.
that's my expectation of it. I really hope that it lives up to that expectation. And then I hope that it does well, so we can start taking what my goal is with podcasting and with creating content, is to like get millennials that grew up listening to the music we listen to also enjoy the new stuff as well, and be able to like do both. So that's,
Yeah.
it's not all nostalgia, it's not all new, it's a mix of both. Some people believe that you can't have that you can't have both, that it's one or the other, but I don't buy that. Yeah, there's people that only live in the nostalgia and people that only listen to the new stuff and think that the old stuff is cheesy, but like life's not black and white, it's gray. There's
Yeah.
my little
Totally.
doctor. Can I be a doctor, like a philosopher, or philosophers doctors? Because I feel like I
Yeah.
just dropped a philosophy moment in the pod.
We'll give you an honorary degree, Matt.
Thank you. You can do that now as a doctor, right?
Yeah, exactly. I will say, like the first When We Were Young lineup, like it had its nostalgia, but it was a lot of new bands.
That's
so
true.
I wouldn't
Like
say that
Mom
like
Jeans
When We're
played
Young.
it, and the Front Bottoms, I think too. Like there was a good mix.
Like
But
you still had the newer band, like the newer metal bands, like Bring Me the Horizon was like the mini headliner, which I know that they've been around for a long time, but like Ice Nine Kills, Motionless in White, Knock Loose, like all those bands were still there. And there's still a lot of those bands are going to be there again this year. So I would say like, in my eyes, when it first got announced, it was like When We Were Young was replacing Warp Tour. It was like the same. We have nostalgia and we have new. The only thing with When We Were Young is that they had so many bands that you tend to prioritize only the nostalgia bands, because that's what like most people want to see. There was no time to go see any of those newer bands. Is the hard
That's
part.
true. I also did feel like though, the new bands were the bands that were like super successful already. Like
Yes,
that could
that's
like
true.
sell
Yeah.
out massive venues, whereas like the Spirit of Warp Tour,
You're not giving the underdogs any like opportunities.
yeah,
I see where
the
you're going
Spirit
with
of
that.
Warp Tour was like the guys that ideally right now would maybe get 5 to 10,000 monthlies on Spotify,
Yeah.
and they were still getting a small stage. They were still able to do that, right?
Yeah, they had the whole like Battle of the Bands thing where you could have like you would try out and win your way onto the tour and everything. So I see where you're coming from on that part.
Like people discover new music at Warped Tour where no one's really discovering new music at when we were young, unless you kind of like are taking a break, stumble across a stage and there's
Yeah,
like Knock Loose is playing and you never heard of Knock Loose. You know what I mean?
totally.
What's your number one?
Yeah, number one, I said it was going to come back later, but basically going off everything you were saying earlier, I think this will be the final year of When We Were Young. It might be a hot take, but with Sick New World officially canceling, they're just done with Sick New World. And them only
That's where my
committing to
concern started coming too.
Yeah, and then them only committing to the one day of When We Were Young so far with like how sick the lineup is. I just have a feeling that maybe it's not selling as well. Maybe it's because of the return of like Warped Tour, and a lot of these other festivals have started to pop up too. Just like random, like Mayhem Fest came back, and
there's
like
definitely
all
more competition.
Yeah, where you're kind of drawing all of that, traffic away into their local, markets instead of bringing everybody into Vegas. I'm not super hopeful that we're going to get a When We Were Young announcement for 2026, and I hope that we do because I love When We Were Young. But based on everything I've been seeing so far, it seems to be trending away.
I think that's a fair assessment just because of the things that you said, basically. Like, there's more competition now. Before, when they first announced When We Were Young, everyone was like, holy shit, look at all these bands. No one's doing this. This is basically like Warped Tour on crack. There was like a void in the market. And then I think everyone else saw how successful When We Were Young was. And they were like, well, we want a piece of that pie. And
exactly.
I don't know if the Emo's Not Dead cruise happened before or after When We Were Young. And I know that thing's
I think it started after.
It's kind of started around that same time. But now it's kind of like you have the cruise, you have When We Were Young, Warped Tour now announced concert, like things. So people are like picking and choosing where they want to go. Like most people, I think, can't do Warped Tour and When We Were Young. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now there's a Warped Tour in my area. I'll just go to that because I live in Florida and it's easier and cheaper for me to go to Florida than it is to go to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think that, yeah, it's more accessible and more people are jumping. Now we have All Your Friends Fest. I'm sure there's all these little festivals in different parts of the states as well that are doing that and getting some acts on there. So there's definitely more competition. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was the last year, although that would truly be heartbreaking for sure.
I know. I love it so much. Like every time that we've gone has just been phenomenal. It's a great experience, great environment, but we'll see. Hopefully it is
organized that it's hard to compete with something like that, right? Like you go in there, you got the VIP section, the general admission area, like the vendors are all clean and organized and everything's so efficient with the bands and getting to the stages. You're all in one area. Like it's such a great experience that it's like, you just really don't want it to end.
Totally. What do you got at number one?
My number one is my little bit of a Delulu moment, but I honestly, hear me out. I don't think I'm being delusional. Okay. Especially with Warped Tour, Kevin Lehman announcing all of these reunions. We're getting a modern baseball reunion, baby.
Oh my God. No, we're not. That's worse than MCR5. What do you mean?
Come on. Modern baseball. It's happening.
I know. When was the last time they put out music? 2017?
Yeah.
Earlier than that?
It's happening. Been a minute. Okay. Don't crush my dreams. Don't crush my dreams, please.
Okay. Give me your crumbs of evidence, or is there any?
Yeah, they did like a merch drop a while ago, I think. Okay. That's about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it makes sense then.
That's my evidence. It's a gut feeling. I actually know, you know what? I have Bren's number and I text them every now and then, check in, be like, how you doing? And they were like, yeah, we're doing a reunion Warped Tour. You heard it here first.
Yeah, do not quote us on that.
Hey, you know what? If it actually happened, quote us on it everywhere.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But
I think you may be a tad delusional, but I'm going to give it to you and say that'd be big for you. Listen, and I know a lot of Mobo fans.
It's number one on my top things I want to see happen for the year, every year for like the last like 8 years. So
Yeah. It's got to happen eventually, right?
We're going to do this episode again for 2026. That's going to be my number one again.
All right. You heard it here first.
Modern baseball's getting back together. They're going to do it. Well, that's really it. I do want to know.
A lot to look forward to this year, though.
There is a lot to look forward to. A lot of records to look forward to.
Yeah, no shit. Based on your list. A lot of big tours to look forward to, like the Linkin Park tour, of course, the final Sum 41 shows. There's already been some stacked lineups announced. You said Silverstein and Thursday are going on tour together.
Well, they're on tour right now.
Oh, did it already start? I didn't even... Okay, cool. Yeah, there's been a bunch, so that's a lot to look forward to in 2025.
Well, I want to know what the people listening and watching are most anticipating or looking forward to happen. Is it a modern baseball reunion? Is it MCR5? Did we miss a band or an album? What are you looking forward to most for 2025? Let us know in the comments. Leave a comment on Spotify or on YouTube. Send us a DM as well, or leave a comment on Instagram. Remember to subscribe and like, rate, review the show. Of course, that always goes the longest way when it comes to supporting the show. If you get any sort of entertainment or enjoy the show, please, 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 it's free. Help us out. Goes a long way. So thank you so much, and do it for the doctor.
Hey, we'll see you next week, all.